Hi everybody, how are you? It's Jay Victoria, the Energy Queen, and today I'm going to be telling you some secrets to becoming a more feminine and successful woman. Why? Because I know from your feedback that a lot of you love hearing about this, so I'm going to keep talking about it. I am, by the way, a feminine energy activator, and why that is because in this lifetime, I actually grew up with four brothers, and my mom was not super like connected to her feminine energy. So I wasn't encouraged to have a lot of feminine energy, even though I naturally do. And so I had to find a way to bring it alive, which was a whole journey that now I just get to pass on that information to you like in packets. Like it's like I feel like it's delivering like gemstones or diamonds, and just instead of you having to go find the diamonds, I can just be like, here's the diamond. I already went and did all the hard work. So that's one reason why I love working with clients, by the way, because I can help you in so many ways. I'll tell you more about that at the end of the video because I have a new offer starting in the new year. So how to become a more feminine / successful woman. I say those two things together because I believe that if you identify as a woman, you have a special like brand of your own feminine energy, and you've used it at times. Like at times in your life you have used this and it has worked for you, but it's just that not all of us have grown up in a culture or with a family, like I just explained about me, that teaches you about your feminine energy really at all, or tells you about it at all, or what it is. And the truth about feminine energy is that we all have our own unique version of that. It doesn't have to look like anything in specific, but it is a spirit within you that is very powerful. If you're a woman, you have this in a very special way. And what that is the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is feminine energy. And that's how powerful this is. That's why you can manifest so powerfully. That's why it has this incredible impact on your world, your life, the way you look. It is the Holy Spirit. It is one of the identities of God. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. So it's a really big deal, and it is meant to become alive in you. It is something that is really important in you. And if you are disconnected from it, that's why things can really not work. And one other thing I want to tell you about feminine energy is that it is self-protecting. In the energy world, if your feminine energy is turned on, it literally keeps out negative energy. And this is a big deal because how do you have clear energy? That's a question I get a lot. One of the answers is to protect your energy. And your feminine naturally does that. So the more feminine energy you have, the more you actually stay in the clear, and your energy does stay clear. And when negative energies don't come inside of you, that means that negative things don't happen in your life as much, because your energy creates your life. So it's really, really a big deal. It's very practical, the effects of it. And it's something that you can practice and keep getting better at and stronger at, and learning how to live a life that includes your feminine energy is like learning a new language. So I keep telling my clients, like, you just have to start. You just have to start, and then there will be really more advanced levels, but you have to start learning about it. And good for you for already starting right now by watching this. So I'm going to tell you 3 secrets that I know that have really helped me and my clients, and that I hope can be very helpful for you. Again, these are like the diamonds that I've gone through a bunch of shit to find them, and I can just give them to you now. I'm really happy to be able to do that. So the first one is that being a feminine woman, like having your feminine energy turned on, is actually not just about your feminine. It's very much about your relationship to the masculine. And the masculine is not just men, though it can include men, but I know not everybody dates men as well, but it's your relationship to men, or masculine energy in a person, or masculine also governs everything physical. So like your time, your schedule, your body, A lot of women ask me about body image and your body. Like, that's about your relationship to the masculine right there. Yeah, about time, even physical things that we use, like makeup and clothes, like those are physical, right? The work you do, the actions you take are masculine because those are things that you do in the physical world. Money is also masculine because that is, well, it has a feminine side to it, but it's very masculine because it's something that we use physically to do something or get something physical in the world again. So the masculine is about all those things. It's not just about men, right? And your relationship with that, if you change that, it can have a drastic impact on your feminine energy. So I want to ask you right now, wherever you're at is totally okay, but generally when women have less feminine energy, it's because they feel like a victim of the masculine. And women that have strong feminine energy feel safe, and the key word is supported by the masculine. And the secret here is that true masculine energy is always supportive of the feminine. That is the indicator of true masculine energy. So what happens with a lot of women is that you go through an experience with a man, for example, like your dad. Like, these early experiences can really, like, they can really color this balance in you and this relationship that you have between your feminine and masculine. And so if you had a father, for example, who wasn't supportive, then you could have made the mistake of believing that masculine energy is not supported, my feminine is not safe with it, and I kind of need to like separate them, and they don't work together. But the truth is, there are men in this world that are not perfect examples of the divine masculine, just how a lot of us women are working on our divine feminine. We're not perfect examples of it, but we do have that spirit, right? But human beings have negative energy inside of us. So we have problems sometimes, and we do things that hurt people sometimes, and we do things that are not positive sometimes. And so the mistake that often happens with women who struggle with feminine energy is that early in your life, you had a masculine figure who colored your definition of what masculine is and kind of twisted it into something, distorted it into something it's not. So true masculine energy, the way you know what it is that it's supportive of your feminine. That is what masculine energy does. It's its true nature. And so if you created a definition of what masculine energy is, maybe it abandons you and hurts you and doesn't care about you, and you know, whatever that negative thing might have been, you have to learn how to separate those experiences from what masculine energy actually is for you in your life as an adult. So for you in your life as an adult, no matter what happened in your past, you can look at all the aspects of the masculine right now in your life, and you can start to transform them back into their positive or true nature. So time, for example, that's meant to, you're never meant to be a victim of time. I don't have enough time. I'm getting, you know, like, if you ever feel like that, that's an indicator that you're being a victim of the masculine, and that's not the truth about the masculine. So instead, you can look at, test out the truth, test out if time is there to support you. Go, time, I know the true nature of you as the masculine is to support me. So show me, and start to work with time, work with the masculine, let it support you. And then look at things like your schedule and how can you actually be more empowered. Instead of being a victim, say, oh, how is my schedule here to support me? How can I create a schedule that supports me? How can I use my time in ways that support me? One example of using time in a way that supports you is to, if you're working on something big in your life and you feel overwhelmed by it, to just work on it for 15 minutes a day. For example, for me, I am a comedian here in New York, and I had this new music video parody that I just filmed, and I was like, I'll edit it because I like to do things myself sometimes. And I had these amazing, you know, men who helped me film it, but I was just like, I know exactly what I want, so I'm just gonna edit it. And I was overwhelmed because I started editing and I was like, I don't even know how to edit. Like, how do you put a music video together and like the storylines? And I was like, oh my God, like, I really didn't know. And so I felt like really discouraged about it. And it felt like this big thing that I didn't want to work on. But then I was like, you know what? If I just work on it like once a day, like for a little bit, and then put it down. And again, the next day I'll work on it, put it down. Before I knew it, last night I actually finished editing it. And I watched it today, and I was again like happy with it. So I was like, cool. And I sent it to the directors, and they were like, looks good. And I was like, okay. So it wasn't that hard. And that was a way for me to use time to accomplish something, to feel supported. Because if I worked on it every day, it's like as time went by, I would get more done. So time is actually, you can use time like that. It's like the masculine is very dependable like that. It's not like the feminine is very, the feminine is energy. So it's very moldable, and it can transform, but the masculine is very structured, and you can use that to support you in your life, because you know that the calendar days are going to go by. So how can you use that to your advantage? You know that if you work on something today, and you work on it tomorrow, and you work on the next day, and the next day, and the next, you're going to get somewhere, right? So time, that's the true nature of the masculine. That's an example. It's like you can depend on it in a beautiful way. And you can do this with so many things. You can do this with, even with makeup. I've been experimenting lately with makeup, and I'm sure, there's so many people who love makeup too. Give me a like if you love makeup. Like, love going to Sephora, and that's a world where the feminine and the masculine meet. These are physical things. They're brushes, and they're different lotions and potions and colors and all these physical things that are reflecting something energetic, that came from someone's imagination, and it's beautiful. And that's an example of the masculine supporting the feminine. The masculine, it's dependable. Like, if you use this product even for this many days, you're going to see this result. And so the masculine is in all these aspects of your life already, and you just have to look for how it's already trying to support you. And that's a big deal as a woman. If you want to have more feminine energy, you can have more when you are less of a victim of the masculine, and you realize that it's already just trying to support you in so many ways. And it is dependable, it is positive, it is trying to lift you up, and let your feminine flower and blossom, and be that, that support really is the word I always come back to with the masculine. It's just like, that's its true nature. So those are some examples. You can start to play with this. You can play with it with your finances. How is money here to support me and already supporting me is an even better way of putting it. Even with men, I encourage you to look at men, no matter what your identification or your orientation is. There are, I swear to you, men in this world who want to hold a door open for you. Let them. If you look at the way men behave in your life, you will start to see that all they want to do is support you. I'm not talking about everybody, remember. Some people are riddled with negative energy, and you have to be discerning. But if there's, there are so many men out there who are connected to their masculine, and they are actually trying to support you, and it feels good for them when you let them. So for example, when I go out in New York City and if I even drop something on the floor, and that moment where you're like, I'm gonna get it myself, but then there's a guy and he's like trying to get it for you, I always try to train myself, even if it's easier for me to pick it up, to let him do it, because that's the masculine supporting me, which strengthens my feminine, but also that feels good for him. They really want to be helpful and supportive. And today I actually was at the New York Public Library, and there was this guy, you can do this in all these small situations. He let me go in the elevator first, and then when the elevator door opened, he let everybody get off before him. And so I made sure I went and I let him give that to me, because that was, again, me, getting supported and him feeling supportive, which is what men really love to feel. So there's a lot to talk about here, and I really want to talk more about dating this year, because there's so much gold in here to talk about, which like how to create better connections in your dating life. But I hope you can start to see the way that this works. Okay, number 2, use masculine aspects to enhance and build your feminine. So this is bridging off what I just said. look at all the masculine things in your life and start to use them to support you. And what I'm saying is, you don't just use them to support you, you use them to support you so that your feminine can flourish. A lot of women want to know, how can my feminine get stronger? Like, how do I get... And I think the thing that I want to say is that these are not separate. And I think it's a mistake to just focus on your, one or the other. They're really interconnected. They're so interconnected, just the way that up and down are somewhat connected, up, down, left, right. It's like there's a spectrum and a gradient. It's like you can't really separate them from each other. It's the same with masculine and feminine. They're very much connected. So working on your feminine can come from the changes you make to your relation with the masculine. And some more examples of that are, let me just take a breath. I think I said a lot of words. Feminine energy, being present. There we go. Herbal tea, am I right? So, okay, so things that I do and that I would recommend, that I know are important too with my clients, like for bringing these two energies to work together, are things like really taking a good hard look at I think your schedule is the top thing, to be honest, because women can get so burned out, and it's just so difficult and stressful and hard to come back from. And what you want to do is, it's almost like, I call it like feminine rehab. Like, if you are really like stressed out, burned out, like, your feminine is not doing well, and that can be so common because we live in a society that almost expects women to be like men. And a lot of women try to be successful by literally being like a man. But the problem with that is that not only are you different anatomically, and you have different needs and cycles and things that affect you and your energy, but and your mood even, but your energy anatomy is different. And the way that you function in society is different. And so you have to learn that language, like unlock those codes to like how you function. And one of the mistakes that women make is trying to hustle like a man. And I have been there. I actually ended up homeless for a bit in New York because I was hustling so hard, which doesn't make any sense if you think about it. So like I said, I've learned these lessons in a real way, so that I can hand over what I've learned. And what I learned from that, obviously I got out of that situation by bringing my feminine back, was a big part of it. And actually working with a coach myself who had a lot of feminine energy, and I thought it was about business coaching advice, but it was really just her feminine energy. Like, she just kind of like helped me bring mine back so that I could make money. And I was like, oh, it was really helpful. So like, your feminine being alive and supported can be the difference between you being successful and not. And again, like, the world won't tell you that. That's why I have a whole career talking about this, and helping women, because like, yeah, like somebody needs to talk about it. Like, and you need to know it. This is the way you're designed. And literally, like, you need to know how you function. And so how you function is not putting your masculine first. That's the way a man's energy anatomy functions, is to put the masculine first, meaning to put work first and schedule first and action first. That's the way that a man's energy balances with his feminine, because every person on earth has masculine and feminine energy. So all men have feminine energy. And so men can put masculine energy first, wake up, hustle, work out, get work done. And at the end of the day, I can relax, And at the end of like a long quarter of working, I can take a vacation. But that's how we're expected to act as well, right? And yeah, it just don't work for women. Sorry, it just doesn't. The way a woman's anatomy energetically and her energetic anatomy functions is to put her feminine energy first, which then bridges with her masculine. So what that looks like practically is nurturing your presence and your pleasure and your self-value and your purpose for being. Those are the 4 ingredients to feminine energy. And if you nurture all those things, you will get ideas to take action on. You will get inspiration. You will not be able to stop working. If you truly build your feminine up, you will like have so much energy. I have like, you know, spent a day building my feminine and found myself unable to stop cleaning my house or unable to stop working on something, or, you know, it's like you get all this energy and it happens naturally and it feels good. But there are the rehab stages of rehabilitating your energy if you're in a burnout stage. So if you're in a burnout stage, I highly recommend you book a free consult with me. That's in the description. I can talk to you about how I can help, because that's something that you need help with, I find. And you need to understand the language of how this works. You need to start making changes and getting your energy cleared, which can help the balance happen more naturally for you. But but I think that one of the main things I would say about what you can do from listening to this video right now is start to think about your schedule. Because I think if you think about your schedule in the masculine sense, it will lead to burnout. It will lead to less results. It will be overwhelming. And your feminine energy is very magnetic and brings results to you. So the irony is that when you function in a masculine centered way, you actually get less results and you have to work more. Instead of putting your feminine first, which will like magnetize, attract things to you, and you will literally get more results from any action that you take. That's the ideal, for you not to have to work as much and to receive more, right? So what I would say is how I want you to think about how can you create a schedule for yourself that takes your feminine energy into account, like doesn't force you to act like a man. Like how can you, instead of saying I have to get up at 7 a.m. and work out and then start working and then work all day and then I'll be able to rest at the end of the day. Like that structure is the masculine structure. Like that works for a man. For a woman, I would say you have to think about it more like, how can my schedule support me? Because remember, the masculine schedule, for example, is supposed to support you. It's supposed to support you, not tire you out, right? So if it's leading to burnout, it's not doing its job. And it's not helping. So what you do is you say, well, what would a feminine energy, like, what would a schedule look like that includes my feminine energy? Maybe I don't have a certain time that I get up. Maybe if I'm tired, I sleep more. Maybe I have like a ballpark. And maybe when I get up, I have, something I love to do is I always have a drink that I love to drink in the morning. I'm a green tea girl. I love green tea. I've been obsessed with matcha for over 12 years and it doesn't seem to stop. I just am still 100%. 300,000% obsessed. And so have something that makes you feel excited, and that's the pleasure, the joy. Remember those 4 ingredients of the feminine: presence, pleasure, self-value, purpose. So the pleasure is really easy to build into your schedule in that kind of way. Like when you wake up, presence is make sure you slept enough. And if you want to get up earlier, then go to bed earlier. You know, the masculine process of your body and time will support you in that. And then when you wake up, pleasure. What makes you happy? You know, again, like I said, that's something I really do every day. I can't not do it. It just makes me happy. And also having fun mugs. This is pleasure. Look at this fun. Fun. Sparkles. I don't know if you saw the sequins. Fun. Lipstick. Earrings. You know? Fun. Have fun. Okay. Self-value. Taking care of yourself. How do you take care of yourself every day? Instead of being like, I have to go to Soul Cycle or I have to do this. Like, well, what makes you feel good about yourself? What kind of exercise makes you feel good about yourself? And purpose. What are you here on this planet to do? How are you going to do something about that today? Build that into your schedule. Like I said, if it's overwhelming, 15 minutes a day, just do a little bit every day, and that can really help. Those are just some examples, but you can play with this. Use those 4 ingredients: presence, pleasure, self-value, and purpose. That's New York in the background. To build into your schedule along with other things that need to get done. And I was talking with somebody yesterday that about creating like a schedule that includes your feminine energy, and we were talking about it, and it was like, it was hard to kind of crack the code a little bit. And we were having this conversation, and I was like, she said, you know what I do is I just like, I like boxes that I can check off, and I don't tell myself what time I have to do things, but I just like know what I need to get done that day. And I was like, I really like that. And I've started doing that. And that's something that you might want to try too. It's like, don't put pressure on yourself, but like also like list out what will support you if you get it done. And that's, again, the masculine supporting the feminine, your actions supporting your reason for being here, your life in general. Okay, so that's a lot that you can take in, and hopefully that will help you get some ideas of what you can do. If you have any questions, put them in the comments too for me, okay? And number 3, I want you to know that it's up to you to value your feminine energy. Again, like, the world isn't going to do this for you. The world isn't necessarily going to say like, hey, how's your feminine energy? And like, oh, are you like doing, like, no one's really going to, like, unless you're working with me, like, no one's going to really do that and maybe not even understand it. And it's up to you. I find that this is something really true about feminine and masculine. Like, the masculine wants the feminine to value herself, and for it to come from in her, and it's a choice that you make every day. And a mistake, this is another dating tip, is trying to get value from sources outside of you. You have to really like just decide on it for yourself, and start to look for all the value that you were naturally given, because you were given a whole bunch, like a shit ton of value. Just the presence and the spirit that you are, and the Holy Spirit that lives within you. This beautiful feminine energy is so healing and nurturing and powerful and valuable. And I really think women are meant to discover how to harness that energy into healing vehicles for the world that bring wealth back into your life. It's like you can monetize the healing that you have to give. And I mean that by saying, like, as a spiritual entrepreneur, like, I think that, like, one of my passions is helping women to discover their own spiritual gifts and how to use them to make a business out of it. You know, that's such a beautiful thing to do, because that's such a beautiful connection between your feminine and your masculine, your spirit, having all these gifts that can help people, and learning how can you bridge that with the masculine to create a service or a modality or something really concrete that people can get from you. And I love that idea that you can actually create your own career. You don't have to like be something that someone else even told you that you could be. Like, for me, I'm the energy queen, and I decided that, you know, you can find that for yourself, whatever that is. And I hope that this advice helped you. It's a lot of years of experience distilled into like a 30-minute video. But I hope that it spoke to you and that it kind of filled in some more gaps for you. This is such a large conversation that even a 30-minute video feels like we just touched the surface of all of this. But I hope that the ideas still are sinking in and starting to, I feel like with the feminine, it's really just about changing your worldview and changing and molding. And it takes kind of like a reawakening that you do over and over and over again, like a training to see things the way they really are. And also I encourage you to experiment. Take something from this video that spoke to you, that you were like, I want to try that. And definitely try it, because that's the best way to learn this. You can hear me talk, but the best way to learn is to try it. And you'll see the results. You'll start to be able to speak that language in your own life. And that's the same with learning a language. You can hear somebody else speak the language, but what about you? You got to practice. So that's why it's important for you to try these things out and discover what's going to work the best for you. So if you are interested in talking to me more about this, my coaching, the energy clearing I do to help awaken your feminine, and spending more time with me, because I am a feminine energy activator, you can book a free 20-minute consult. I'm doing free 20-minute consults in the new year. And I would love to tell you more about my new program, which is called New Life. And it's a 3-month program to designed to awaken your feminine energy and help you create habits and shifts in your daily life through my coaching that will guide you to be able to do that, so that you have better results energetically and in your actual day-to-day life. So if you're interested, you can click the link below. I'd love to talk to you about it. And I have a promo going on right now till January 7th. So if you're watching this before that, make sure you get your consult in before that to get that deal. And I would love to speak to you. So thank you so much for watching, and I'm wishing you so much love. Bye.